Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is episode 7 of season 2 of the Random Album Review. For those of you who do not already know, I'm
I'm
Larry.
Brian. I tried to cut you off, but Discord is like a second late.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm Brian. The
That
intrusive thoughts, I'm
wow.
telling you.
All right. I respect it. For those of you who don't know, also the way this works, each week Brian and I alternate choosing an album for the other person to listen to for the first time in its entirety. We get on a camera after we listen to it. We talk about it.
Get on a
Uh,
camera.
Man, you're just ripping me apart today. Come on.
I've been up since 5 a.m.
I've been up since 5:30, okay?
Loser.
All right, listen. We get on here, we talk about the album a little bit, we talk about, some of the themes, what it made us feel, how it made us feel. Uh we give them we talk about our favorite songs, our least favorite songs, we give them a score, and we move on and we do it again next week. It's simple.
Yep. How it goes.
Yeah. So Brian,
Larry.
I don't know if it I don't know, maybe it wasn't obvious. It should be obvious to you, to the
Is it?
audience, but this week
Oh,
we're
yeah.
covering the second studio album from Frank Ocean. This week is Blonde. This album released August 20th, 2016, like a week before we started high school.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of things about this album, I will say.
Man, this album is very, very, very highly regarded as being one of the best albums of all time. Uh,
Oh.
if I'm not mistaken, I think Apple Music just did like a top 100 albums of all time list, and I think
Oh,
this was
yeah,
in the top five.
I believe
I
so.
I
I
know
can look it
top
up right
10
now.
for sure. I think top five, which
Was it
very, very
top 100
impressive.
albums?
Yeah, he's
Um,
pulling up the facts, the evidence.
Number 99 is Hotel California.
Banger. Not this week's album though. Come on, man.
But brother, I gotta scroll
It's
through
a
all
lot of
these because
scrolling. I know. I scrolled through it
Beyonce's on
myself.
here. Pink. Um,
It's a lot of good
Mad
albums on the
City is
list.
number 7. Yeah, it's number 5.
It's number five. Okay.
Yep.
I do have my gripes with that list, so maybe take for granted or take it with
The
a
list.
little bit of salt. The fact that
I,
Blonde is number five. I know a lot of people will say that Channel Orange, his first studio album and his only other studio album, a lot of people will say Channel Orange is better. So it depends. It depends.
I see.
So Blonde features an abstract and experimental sound in comparison to his first album. Encompassing styles such as R&B, pop, soul, avant-garde, indie rock, electronica, psychedelia, and hip hop. A lot going on this record. I mean,
Yep. Very a lot.
it this album is a journey in the sounds and the things that he does with the music to make you feel things and feel ways. He knows exactly what he's doing.
That's his job. That's why he gets paid to do it.
Yeah. And I'll kind of get into
Or
that.
perform rather.
Interestingly enough, I'll get into that briefly.
All right.
So Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys is listed as a major influence for this album. I was talking with shout out our friend Noah. I was talking with Noah yesterday about that and how this album, and Brian Wilson described this album as being an album that you have to put it on, lay in bed and listen in the dark with like headphones on. Like you have to have the full experience.
Mm.
And he's so right.
I did not do that, but
He is right. You should try it. It's great.
depends.
Okay.
I listen to it with loud machines in the background, so I mean.
Yeah, that's fair. Real. So the project was originally known as Boys Don't Cry and was teased for a July 2015 release. However, the album suffered several delays and would come out in August of the following year. The album includes themes surrounding Frank Ocean at the time, such as dealing with his own masculinity and emotions, heartbreak, loss, duality, and past traumas. Blonde received widespread acclaim, with critics praising Ocean's introspective lyrics and the album's unconventional and progressive sounds. Critics also complimented the album for challenging the conventions of R&B and pop music and combining the two of them together. The album debuted at number 1 in several countries, including the United States Billboard 200. It recorded 276,000 sales its opening week, and as recent of April of 2023, so a year and 3 months ago now,
Year and change.
it has sold over 3 million units worldwide.
It's a lot of units.
Quite a lot. So this is where things get a little interesting with the way this album was released. So 24 hours prior to the album release, a live stream began on Frank Ocean's website. And this live stream was about 45 minutes long. And it has become known as the Endless Visual Album, which, alongside the release of Blonde, is considered a duo project. And the whole project as a whole is considered the Boys Don't Cry project. And essentially, what this was is Endless, the visual album, was an album that Frank Ocean compiled and put together to satisfy his record label. Because he had to make 2 albums for his record label. He made Channel Orange, and then he was going to make Blonde. He wanted to make Blonde. But the issue was the record label wouldn't support it. They wouldn't support his ideas. So he made Endless in the studio for them while working on Blonde in the background. Released Endless, and then because he released Endless, completed his record deal, and Blonde is his own record.
Oh.
And because of that, he made a lot of money. He got all of the royalties.
Yeah.
Well, not all, obviously. There are other artists and other, but it was all through him. It's honestly, it's very impressive, and it's kind of a tell on how Frank Ocean feels about the music industry and how evil it can be. He basically just told them to go away. Here. Please, leave me alone. So yeah, that's why we have Blonde, and that's why Blonde is as adventurous as it is, and why it's able to be. So
gnarly.
Enough with the background information. Getting into the tracks, I'm not going to cover them all. I am going to cover most of them because
said earlier, 3 songs are not being covered.
3 songs out of 17, I know. And some of them are very brief. Like, I'll literally, there's like a couple lines I'm reading. But a few of them I'm going into a little bit more because I think the song has a little bit more deeper meaning that some people can see. So the opening track, Nikes, opens up softly and textured to sort of give the sense of entering a dreamlike world where you can feel safe and appreciated. And the high-pitched voice that Frank Ocean uses on the track is sort of meant to symbolize a time when Frank Ocean was younger in his life, and when life was simpler. I know we've always, I don't know,
maybe that's so simple back then.
I don't know
so
if you've,
easy.
I don't know if you've ever, like, I've had the moment of thinking. Have you ever thought of like wanting to go back and be a kid again?
Very specific moments, but
okay, so then
not often.
You kind of get what he's going for here.
Yeah. I know what he's going for. Yeah.
So then going into the second track, Ivy, you have Frank Ocean reflects on his mistakes and explores a failed relationship. With Frank Ocean's vocals laid over melancholic production, Ivy is a heartbreaker of a song that, and I don't know if you've heard it in passing because I mean there's a Vine. There was
Ivy?
a Vine. No, not Ivy, but Ivy can be seen as a sequel to the single Thinking About You, which is off of Channel Orange.
Thinking About You? Hold on, I'll listen to it right now.
A tornado flew around my room.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You'll know it, like, as soon as it, yeah.
Ain't that kid, though. But it is indeed Frank Ocean.
Yeah, so, it can kind of be seen as a sequel to that song. At least some people think so. The third track on the album, Pink and White, and I don't go into all of the features and all of the production like a help that Frank Ocean had on this album. I just highlight some of the cool ones or some of the ones that I found to be interesting. So
Mm-hmm.
Pink and White is produced by Pharrell Williams. Love that guy. Great guy.
Pink and white. Hold on. Can I find? I never noticed that. Hold on. Can I hear the beat? Did they do his thing?
I don't think so. I think it's just
Doesn't.
no. I don't think so. And then I believe
It
at the
doesn't.
end
Yeah.
of the song, there is background vocals that are uncredited from Beyonce, which
Really?
that's kind of crazy, honestly. The fact that she would,
Uncredited.
want to do it for uncredited work, but like honestly, that's cool. Very good song.
Yeah.
I love her work on that song. It's beautiful. I didn't know it was her before this. Before I started doing the research for this.
Yeah.
Pink and White details Frank's memories of his youth and someone close to him who passed away. He remembers this person by recalling the lessons that they taught him. He uses pink and white to kind of symbolize the look of the sky, and he reminisces talking about the sky. The theme of morality plays a really key role in this song. In the second verse, he sings about a hurricane destroying everything in its path and its aftermath. And the hurricane
Mm-hmm.
is likely, it not confirmed, but likely a reference to Hurricane Katrina, which hit
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana in 2005. Um, at the time, Frank Ocean was a student at the University of New Orleans, and he had to relocate to Houston because of the storm. And it's possible, again, not confirmed, but it's kind of hinted at that this person may have died
Mm-hmm.
during Katrina.
With the ways that it's going, right? It's just like it's a very good like inference, if
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Very good song. One of my favorites on this album. It's beautiful. A lot of so much of this album is beautiful. What am I saying? Be
It is.
yourself. And we talked about this briefly because you messaged me when you were
Mm-hmm.
listening to the album, um, talking about how one of the lines was really funny. But funnily enough, this song, even though the woman who was talking in this song,
Mm-hmm.
even though she refers to herself as being his mother, she is not. She's a family friend, Rosie Watson. She was basically one of Frank Ocean's friends growing up. She was their mother.
Mm-hmm.
And she just kind of became like a parental figure for him growing up. So she refers to herself as their aunt, their mother. This was
Mm-hmm.
confirmed by Frank Ocean's late brother, who passed away in 2020. I believe he confirmed it in like 2018 on Twitter or something.
Oh, classic.
Classic Twitter replies, man. Always finding
Mm-hmm.
out the little details. I really, for it being an interlude, I feel like this carries a lot of weight, and I took out a small chunk just like from the middle of it,
Mm-hmm.
where she says, "Be yourself and know that's good enough. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to be like someone else. Don't try to act like someone else. Be yourself. Be secure with yourself. Rely and trust upon your own decisions, on your own beliefs. You understand the things that I've taught you, not to drink alcohol, not to use drugs. Don't use that cocaine or marijuana because that stuff is highly addictive. When people become weed heads, they become sluggish, lazy, stupid, and unconcerned. That's all
Mm-hmm.
marijuana does to you, okay? I just
Another funny message I sent you. Like I don't need it. I'm already four
I
out of four things
I
on the
am
block right there.
already sluggish, lazy, stupid, and unconcerned. No, I just this and another thing too, this specific message directly
Mm-hmm.
plays into the following song, so it kind of it has more importance than it just being an interlude in the album.
Yeah, I
Um,
noticed that when I heard it. When I listened to it.
so Be Yourself immediately feeds into Solo, on the album, uh, and it immediately contradicts the voicemail that Rosie Watson left Frank. He immediately talks about using drugs and seeking out pleasures in life and
Mm-hmm.
just going against basically everything that she was saying. Frank trying to be someone else that he's not. The song is a double entendre, has a double entendre meaning.
Mhm.
Solo as in SOLO, as you were alone,
Mhm.
or solo, SO space LOW, two words, as in
Mhm.
you're in such a point in life that,
Yeah.
yeah, you kind of get what I'm saying. It's the argument of being alone versus being lonely,
Yeah.
is the way I look at it the best. The first verse is about him falling for someone at a party. Where at the end of this first section, he says they don't have to be solo, referring to they don't have to be alone anymore. They have each other, but at the same
Mhm.
time, they don't have to be solo, spelled the other way, as in they don't have to hide their feelings for each other anymore. Um,
Mhm.
so the second part of the verse is after the two start a relationship, but Frank couldn't handle being in a relationship as well as his drug use, so he ends up cheating on his new partner. Um, and he ends this portion by saying maybe the two of them were better off solo, and at this point he only means just they're just better off alone. They don't need each other.
Yeah.
The chorus then begins, and it's a play on smoking weed. It's pretty simple.
Mhm.
It says, "In hell is meant to," or it says repeatedly in hell, and it's meant to sound like inhale, referring
Mhm.
to the drugs.
Yeah.
He also references a bull and a matador when he's looking up to the sky, referencing the Taurus and Orion constellations, and he's looking up into the sky past them to see the heaven that he's talking about,
Mhm.
and he's using that to justify his drug use essentially because it clears his
Ah,
mind.
I
Um,
see.
so then the second verse begins, and it's about Frank living a quote unquote carefree life now that he's single. He doesn't have anyone to impress anymore. He continues his drug use. He's starting bad habits. He mentions not showering, just switching socks and clothes, and just calling it a day. He continues running from his emotions. And at the end of the second verse, he tries to make amends with his partner, but instead he is left solo, alone. And the song closes out, and it's kind of meant to show that it's just an endless loop. He's just stuck.
Mhm.
He's back at ground zero all over again.
Back at square one once again.
Try again, get over it.
Go to jail. Do not pass one. One. Go.
Um, Skyline 2. Uh, this is one of those ones I didn't exactly have a ton for, but I did want to just hint at something that I noticed. The song is kind of just about, it's kind of reminiscent in the way it sounds and the way the lyrics are portrayed. The
Mhm.
one thing I did notice, though, is in the song, there is very specific use of like muted guitar sounds. I don't know if you know what palm muting is. I'll,
I
I'll,
think so. Yeah.
if not, I'll show you after. It's not a super like complex thing or anything.
You
It
just like put your palm on the
literally
thing
like
and
when
you
you're
strum.
playing, if the
Mhm.
chords are like laying across right here, you put your
Mhm.
palm lightly against them, and it gives it
Mhm.
like a scratchy noise when you play it. It's weird.
Yeah. 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 I know what you're talking about.
It gives it a muted effect essentially. Um,
Mhm.
so he has the muted guitar and muted drums, and it kind of gives a sense of time flying by and kind of like blurring together because like the sound isn't super distinct. That's the way I see it, at least.
Mhm.
And it ties into the lyrics because he mentions that time is flying by, time is zooming by. Things are blurry essentially. Self control is about sensing that a relationship is beginning to come to an end in front of your eyes. It begins with Frank meeting a guy who is visiting his town for a brief period of time, and he decides to get involved with him despite knowing that things aren't going to be able to go far because he's only in town for like a weekend or a few days.
Mhm.
By the end of the song, Frank is trying to tell himself that it's alright, that they had to split apart. He tries to tell himself it's alright repeatedly, saying that it's nothing when he basically tries saying that he would be willing to sleep with his ex in bed between he and his ex and his new partner's new ex. He would sleep in the middle of them, and
What?
he tries telling himself that it's all right and it's nothing, like repeatedly. It's strange, but it's kind of meant to show how desperate and how
Yeah.
down he was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's just kind of insane behavior. No offense. Um, and then at the very end of the song, he mentions that he loses his self control. Title of the song. And he
Mm-hmm.
sees his ex one last time, despite knowing it's not good for either of them to do so. And the track slowly fades out, giving the sense that everything good or bad will eventually pass and life moves on.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is one of those little things that I wouldn't have known unless I was doing my research, but it's so intentional and it's perfect. The song Nights is the
Mm-hmm.
ninth song out of 17, right in the middle.
Yeah.
In the middle of the song, because Nights is able to be split perfectly down the middle. In the exact middle of the song, that is when the beat switch on this song happens.
All
Nights
right.
Nights is meant to represent duality. The beat switch is meant to represent the halfway point in the album and when the ideas and the themes of the album sort of shift. Never knew. But the beat switch is unbelievable. It is just
It is very good. I like it a lot.
I remember the first time hearing it in high school and just kind of just sitting there for a minute and just going, "Wow, that was crazy." The best way I would describe it is it keeps building and building and building and building and then it just crashes. And I think I read somewhere that someone described it. I wouldn't know from personal experience, but somebody described it as using a harder substance and crashing. When it wears off and just
Um.
everything just stops. And
Yeah.
I don't know, but I would say so. Maybe, yeah.
Perhaps.
Um, the first part of the song is rap heavy and quick. It builds up. The beat switch occurs. It goes much slower, more melodic. And like I said, it is literally right in the middle. It's such a small detail, but it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I skip, or no, I don't skip Solar Reprise. I do cover Solar Reprise. Sorry, Solar Reprise. It's the only song on the album not to have Frank's vocals. It is purely Andre 3000 of Outcast.
Mm-hmm.
You know Outcast.
Yep.
Yep. Outcast is great. Andre 3000 is one of the greatest rappers of all time. One of the greatest in the hip hop music industry. His newest
Mm-hmm.
album is so far out there, but I love it. The flute is crazy.
Flute.
Flute,
Oh, you
flute.
had me at
He
flute.
he's an expert flute player. It is unbelievable.
That's crazy.
So this song is basically just a minute of Andre 3000 complaining about the hip hop music industry and where it's gone and where it is now, and how much it's changed since he started making music.
Or
His
just
discipline.
ranted on a song that isn't his own album.
He did. He really did.
He really just said like.
He talks about how disappointed he is that like everyone is just kind of following trends in the hip hop music industry, and like nobody's being themselves and being true to themselves and being authentic. And that's like the ultimate point. Like he rants about a lot of things, but his big point is he's just upset
Mm.
that nobody is themselves. He can kind of push everything else to the side, like the ghost writing and this and that, but it's the authenticity that kind of really disappoints him. So I skip Pretty Sweet, beautiful song, but there's just
Mm-hmm.
not a whole lot there to cover. Uh, Another interlude on here, and this one didn't have quite as much, there, but it just kind of has a very strange and funny story tied to it.
The Facebook story is funny. I remember listening to that. I was giggling to myself while I was working.
Yeah, it's such a strange story, and one of the things with Frank Ocean, I would hate to be friends with him because I would never be able to talk about myself or my life around him without fearing that he would just be recording it at all times to put onto an album, which would be kind of
Yeah.
cool, admittedly. But like this is the third or fourth instance. Like he just does it so much in his music. Second instance on this album alone that he's using somebody else, like
Hmm.
hiddenly recorded. So this is Sebastian. They are an electronic dance banger music producer.
Electronic dance
Never like
banger.
crazy like how
Could
specific the
could
genre is.
could have just went like. Actually, no, I can't. It's specific. I was like, I guess it's EDM, but I guess it's also different.
Um, so he has confirmed since then that it is him. He is like the person telling the story.
Hmm.
And he was in an interview like afterward, I believe in 2018, so like 2 whole years afterward. And he said, I was just telling that I got this girl before, and we was together since 3 years, and I am not even cheating on her or what. And Facebook arrived, and she wanted me to accept her on Facebook. And I don't want it because I was like in front of her, and she told me like accept me on Facebook. It was virtual. It made no sense. So I say, I'm in front of you. I don't need to accept you on Facebook. She started to be crazy. She thought that because I didn't accept her, she thought I was cheating. She told me, like, it's over. I can't believe you. I said, come on, you're crazy. Because, like, yeah, I'm in front of you. I'm here every day in your house. That's it. It means, like, you're jealous. Pure jealousy for nothing, virtual thing.
Bro, what?
Getting dumped over not accepting a Facebook. Bro, just accept it. Like,
Honestly,
at that point, like, it
like,
makes me wonder,
oof.
like, did he not have a Facebook and he was, like, resenting the idea of making a Facebook and adding her? Or did he have a Facebook and he just wasn't accepting her? Because if that's the case, dude, just accept her. Are you stupid? What are you hiding?
Um,
What are you hiding on the
the
Facebook?
other girl, obviously. What are you talking about?
So skipping on to White Ferrari. Um, the song title is very important here. It's also, again, Frank Ocean loves cars. I don't know if you've noticed. He loves talking about them. He has songs titled about them, projects titled about them. So White Ferrari, white is supposed to symbolize the purity and innocence of the time that he's talking about, and the Ferrari is meant to reference how valuable that time was to him.
Hmm.
The song is about a young love that Frank had when he was 16. He was blissfully ignorant at the time, and he has memories that he never wants to forget, but he kind of ruined things because he was young and dumb.
Hmm.
Young, dumb, in
That
love.
happens
It happens.
many a time.
I know. I know.
I'm sure
Uh,
you would.
the warm synth fades out at the beginning of the third verse, where the song sort of breaks down and a slow strumming guitar begins to follow Frank, sort of. When he gets really emotional and remembering the past love, he says, I care for you still and I will forever. That was my part of the deal, honest. We got so familiar, spending each day of the year, white Ferrari, good times. Damn, that hurts. I love that song.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Then you have Siegfried. It is a song about being true to yourself and sort of quote unquote breaking up with your former self, if you can even do that, and breaking away from what you used to be in order to move forward and grow into what you're supposed to be. And in this case, specifically regarding Frank Ocean, it's about his sexuality. He just doesn't know. He doesn't know what's going on. He's confused.
That's
Real.
fair. Happens to people.
Godspeed is it is just genuinely a song about just wishing people the best and trying to support them on their journeys in life. It's really
Hmm.
pure.
Good
I
song.
love that song. It's beautiful. And then Future of Free. It's broken into two sections. The second section is just an interview with There's like six different people. I forget their names. I don't remember any of them. I don't think they're anything like of super relevance. I think they might be tied to a magazine or something. But it's
Mm,
an interview section. But the first section of the song finds Frank reflecting on his life and accomplishments thus far in a stream of consciousness style. He rambles about fame, religion, and his sexuality while referencing pop icons such as Tupac and Selena, who both met tragic deaths at a young age. And Frank's kind of, thinking about.
who's who's Selena?
She was a pop star. I'll show you after, or you can
I
just
got
look
it.
her up. But
Oh, I
she
see.
she passed
Yeah.
away young as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Frank Ocean's kind of just like putting that into perspective, and like again the music industry. I've mentioned it before on here. The 27 Club is very famous in the music
Mm-hmm.
industry, and like the not even just music industry, but really like the entertainment industry as a whole.
Yeah.
And then one thing I wanted to highlight really quickly about Future of Free was if you listen closely, the first section of the song has distorted guitar chords that are playing
Gar-
in the background, and these are sampled from the 1979 song "Love Like Anthrax" by Gang of Four. I don't know why. I just thought that was very interesting. Such a small little detail.
Interesting. Don't know what that song
There's
is or who they are, but
there's so many little
interesting.
details. There's so many little things. There's things about this album that I didn't cover. I wasn't able to cover because there's just so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is incredible the amount of purpose everything has in this album, I feel. And I'm not even, truthfully, I'm not even able to touch the surface. So
It's a lot.
now that I'm done spewing a bunch of garbage, Brian,
Yeah.
got any favorite songs?
Yes. Actually, no. Yeah. I liked Solo,
Beautiful, great song,
White Ferrari, and Pink and White.
beautiful. All great picks. The stars. I mean, there are many stars of the album on here, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely I mean, you can see my list already. I know you can.
Yeah.
You can see there's some similarities. um,
100%, basically.
yeah. So my favorite songs, "White Ferrari." I absolutely love that song. That song makes me want to just curl up in a ball and sob like every time. It breaks my heart. I love it. I hate it. I hate that I love it. I don't know, man. And then "Pink and White." It is just it's another beautiful song. The way it is produced, the way it is layered, it is. I just want to cry. This album just makes me want to cry.
You did say that. You did say that to me.
I literally, when I sent this album to you, I told you, like, please don't cry on the job. Because I knew you were at work at the time.
I did not.
That's good. Um, I think I know the answer to this, Brian. Any least favorite songs?
No.
Okay,
Never.
cool. I don't have any this week either. I think
I can see that. I can see
I
why.
don't really ever consider interludes anyway, but like
Yeah, no.
even the interludes on this album have a purpose to me. They have reason, so I really like them. So
Mm-hmm.
genuinely, this album is awesome. I know I didn't mention it earlier, but do you have any like closing thoughts on the album, real quick before we
Uh,
score it?
you wanna hear my like want me to put some more meat on it, or do you want me to read
Give
word
me
for word
give
by?
me it, Evan. Give me it. Let me hear it.
All right, good. Comma. Understand why many people like this album. Period. No, but it was pretty good. I liked it. I mean, I've definitely heard Frank Ocean in passing, but I've never
Mm-hmm.
actually listened to a whole Frank Ocean
The project.
album.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do understand. Like, this is very. I've seen a lot of a lot of people talk about this album. A lot of people say it's their favorite. A lot of people will say like, "Oh, play some Frank Ocean." Like, I
Play
know
some
Frank Ocean's
Frank.
good. People always like talk about Blonde and stuff. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
I
just
mean,
after listening to it, I do understand why everyone likes it. It's very good.
it's
Very
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 good.
good.
It's very good. Iconic album cover. Frank Ocean
Very
is
iconic. Say the word.
incredibly talented, man. It just it's devastating that we haven't had a Frank Ocean project since. There's a lot of rumors why. I don't really want to highlight any of them because they are just rumors. He's the thing I will say is he has dealt with the loss of his brother in 2020, his younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
I believe his younger brother was 17, 18 at the time,
Jeez.
and he died in a car accident. So, he needs his time away. He needs let the
Mm-hmm.
man live. If he hasn't released music, he hasn't released music. If he doesn't want to release music, he doesn't want to release music. If he's working on it, he's working on it. Let him work on it. All right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple.
True.
He's a person, just like all of us. So, Brian, anything else you want to cover this week?
No.
Okay. Well, if you guys like this episode, leave a like, comment,
Wait,
subscribe.
wait, wait, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Whoa.
wait. Oh, we didn't score.
Oh, I skipped it. No way.
Oh, went straight to the outro.
I went straight over
I
it.
was
I'm
like,
sorry.
unless you said it without me saying anything.
No, you're definitely right. I just skipped straight over it. Brian,
Yep.
I gotta save this. What's your favorite, or
Yeah.
what's your score?
I gotta save this. I give it an 8.67 out of 10
8.67. That's so
because
specific.
because listen, hear me out, right? It's a very good album. It's a very odd album. So it's a very odd number.
Odd? What do you mean odd? Out of curiosity.
I don't know.
I mean,
my
is
train
it
of thought was,
just
it's
the
an
fact
odd
that it's
album.
experimental?
I mean,
It's a
don't
good
know.
score from you regardless, and
I'll tell
867
you.
is really good.
I'll just tell you what my train of thought was when I listened to it. I'm like, wow, this is pretty good. Pretty
What?
odd. 8.67.
Okay. All right. You know what?
I don't know why I said odd, but
All right. I respect it.
that's
I'm
all I
sorry.
got.
No. Yeah. All right. If that's the first thing that came to your mind, that's the first reaction.
Yeah, that's how my scores are.
All right.
They might relate to a word. They might just be like, wow, number right there. Boom.
Number. Speaking of
Yeah.
numbers, this
Mhm,
album's a 10 out
mhm.
of 10. It is. It's a perfect album.
Given the way you were speaking about it, I could assume so.
Yeah. Front to back, it is 1 hour and like 8 seconds or something. I forget the exact time.
This is an hour on Spotify, so
Yeah.
can't be too bad.
It's a slightly longer listen, but it tells a story front to back. It is just a masterpiece. It is beautiful. Frank Ocean, he just kills it on this. He kills it, destroys it, puts it out of the park. It's a 10 out of 10. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's try this again. Anything else you want to cover, Brian?
No.
Okay. Now that we have actually covered everything, if you guys like this episode, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, give us a rating. I don't know. We're on Apple Music, Spotify. Yeah. We will see you guys next week.
Bye.
See ya.